I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. I'd like to say hello to Dokeyn Kewrai. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, welcome to the show. Please let everybody know who you are. Introduce yourself for us.
My name's Dokeyn Kewrai, but I just go by Dokeyn. I'm a demon VTuber. I am pretty new. I just started in January, so it's still kind of getting my footing, but I'm working it out as it goes along.
Why'd you get started in the first place? Was it something? Were you watching VTubers and decided to take a whack at it?
Why I got started, it's a little bit deeper, if you don't mind going into that a little bit.
Go right ahead.
So VTubing, I guess to start off, I used to be just a regular streamer back during like 2021. But that I just didn't, I enjoyed it, but I didn't like having my face all plastered all over the place. And after I quit for a little bit, life things happened, and I turned to VTubers for just kind of that comfort and just like that, let's say, just like that company of like, it's kind of like having a live podcast on all the time, right?
Yeah.
And it was like sort of like a support system, and it really did get me through a tough time. And I realized that I wanted to be that for other people, right? Like if I could, even for one person, make the world a better place like that, or just make their day, right? Or make them laugh once, like that would be it. Like that's worth it for me. So I guess that's why I started, just to build friendships, communities, and just make people laugh.
Yeah. So you were creating before, doing some, did you have the face cam on while you were doing it?
I did. It was full face cam. Like it was pretty much all set up for me to be I know people call them flesh tubers, but I was a flesh tuber, full face cam, the whole nine.
I try to avoid that term.
I'll make sure.
No, you guys can.
Sure.
This is 18 plus, so everybody can see what they want. But me, it just kind of gives me the willies.
Oh yeah. I'll make sure to avoid that. Sorry about that.
No, no worries about that. I'm just kidding. The going from one to the other though, did you kind of just jump into this type of model? Did you have that model planned out, or did you was it a case of looking for the first thing to try?
It was, so VTubing was a thing that like I was watching it, and it was always man, it'd be really cool to be a VTuber. Like I wonder what it takes. Like, oh, that'd be so cool. It was like not like putting it on a back burner, but I'll get to it. Like maybe one day I'll do it. And I don't know what, something came over me, and I was just like, you know what? Like I'm just going to do it. So I went and found an artist that I liked, and just kind of went off a whim and said, hey, I like these colors. I kind of want to be a demon. Like, let's just, what can we do? And this is what we came up with, and I'm actually really happy about it.
Yep, it looks great. I think it looks just fine.
Thank you.
With this, was it when you were streaming before? Was it with a live chat, or was it something that you recorded and put on like YouTube?
It was a live chat. So I was on Twitch. So it was basically VTubing, but with my face.
Yeah. If I use my face, they'd accuse me of being VTubing. And they probably,
is that a good or a bad thing?
Then they'd ban me in a few minutes. I'm pretty sure about that.
Some good publicity, though.
It would be. So what was the difference for you as far as, or is there any difference for you in interacting with chat from one to the other?
Personally, for me, I believe there's a huge difference, like leagues of a difference. When you're comparing like talking to chat as just a regular human being, right, or a VTuber. At least for me, it was kind of like I couldn't fully be myself because it is me, right? So I can't act out or be funny, or it took away some of the creativity of how I wanted to be with my chat. But as a VTuber, it's like, oh, I could be silly or I could be unhinged or anything. And there's no, like, I don't have to be afraid of judgment. I don't have to be afraid of, being weird or whatever. It's really refreshing to be a VTuber compared to just a regular streamer, in my personal opinion.
Well, I imagine so. I mean, people have said that they get a better chance to be themselves by having that avatar in front of them.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's really like rejuvenating, honestly. It's just like, wow, it gave me a whole different feeling for streaming, being a VTuber.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you got started, were you doing pretty much the same type of streams before, same games, same sort of thing, or did you move on to a different sort of game?
So in the beginning, I would say maybe even now, I did just go off of what I was comfortable with, right? So same game, and it just I was comfortable with it, but it really wasn't like, oh, I'm doing it for the craft. It was more like this is the easy way out.
I know all about the easy way out. I look for the easy way out all the time.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
But as time went on, I actually started to branch out into different things and just, I guess it is like being a VTuber. I'm just going to try something new. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That whole I don't care mentality kind of carried over into the content I was creating. And it definitely kind of breathed life into like what I could do. So I just started kind of I feel like doing this, I'm going to do it. I feel like doing this, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. Kind of put some wind beneath your wings a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. It's so nice.
No, with this, it seems like it's kind of giving you that extra inspiration that maybe if you were looking the camera straight in the eyes and it was you looking back, it'd be like maybe not. But now you get that little impetus to jump off the bridge.
Oh, absolutely. I could go head first into it, dive straight in, and just not think about anything like, oh, am I going to be weird, or what are people going to think about me, or what if someone I know sees me, right? It's kind of just whatever, like just do whatever I want.
Yeah. But it does make a difference that way. And it certainly, even now with things that I've done and things I did in radio all the time, there was a big difference between me, and I did a little bit of video things for productions. It was a big difference between me being behind a microphone and not having a camera in my face, and me just having the microphone. The sound is different for one. People can be a lot more comfortable without having to, wear makeup or anything like that for a camera.
Yeah,
and they can, they can set up any way they want, and they don't have to worry about prying eyes and all that sort of thing. I hope somebody can write a paper on it, because I haven't found the right words to describe it yet. But there's just that little extra confidence. Do you feel that confidence? I mean, it's just been like a month for you, a little bit over a month. So do you feel more confident now than you were ever as a live streamer?
Oh, absolutely. It's a night and day difference in my personal opinion. It's even now, this podcast we're doing, I could just speak to you and I don't feel like, oh, do I look okay, or anything along those lines, or is there something wrong with my face? Like, none of those things have to cross my mind. It's just, hey, what am I thinking about? Like, can I say this on a podcast? Just stuff like those are the things that I have to worry about now, rather than my appearance or anything like that.
When the host goes, ooh, then that's pretty problem.
We're gonna have to edit that one out.
Can you put extra shading on the filter, please? It's one of the great things about having this medium right now, and I related a little bit back to the old DJ radio days, where you didn't see the DJ as he was playing the songs, but you still came back to them for their personality and how well you were comfortable with them. Has that sunk in with you yet, with people coming back for you and your talents and your abilities?
Yeah, that's kind of what keeps me going, in all honesty. it's not surface level. Oh, I just think they're an attractive human being or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's literally either my personality or the games I play or even the collabs or my friends that I have around me. Now it's literally for just the pure content instead of, just things that would make me have social anxiety.
Yeah. And so have you been able to do any collaboration yet with the VTuber?
Oh yeah, I have quite a few actually,
Mm-hmm.
which is great because that's kind of was what helped me want to do this. Is just like the dream of, wow, it'd be really cool to just be friends with people and it's kind of just like hanging out with your friends and playing games with your friends and having everyone else like chat, like chime in. So it was great. It's great.
And they'll help you out so much.
Oh, absolutely. It's fun to bounce off people, right?
Yes. Get one of those games where the chat gets to vote on what happens next. And
oh yeah, that definitely is fun because they're in control.
Oh yeah, they'll let you know too in a hurry. So with the collaborations, were they people that you knew before you started, or how did you pick that up? How did you make contact with these folks?
Actually, I went into this whole VTubing thing kind of just full anonymous, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know a single soul. Didn't know a single other VTuber. I actually found that what is it, the Ian VTubers Discord, and and I just made some posts there. I actually found your podcast there.
Yes, hello, folks. There's a lot of we're talking about the Discord. There's a lot of places on Discord that are very helpful for you if you want.
Oh, absolutely. And you kind of just put yourself out there, as cliche as that sounds, and you'll find people that really vibe with you, and you'll just talk, and all of a sudden you're best friends. Like it sounds simple, but it really is, and I love it. That's how I actually met all the people I play with and stuff now.
Yeah, it's and to realize that these are people you may never even see their faces in person.
Mm-hmm.
You may never know their actual birth name, or even be on the same hemisphere of the world as they are.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
But you can walk in, pick up a microphone, and talk to them.
No, absolutely. It doesn't matter what time of day or where you are, as long as you have a microphone and some internet access, you're connected.
Yeah, yep. That's why I'm so dangerous. But it's really amazing to hear your story coming in with this, because you came into it kind of like a hold your nose and jump in type thing, and I'm just going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you always been that type of a person? I mean, to kind of this close my eyes and go, or have you been somebody who's had to think about things for a long time?
So in the past, I've always been I'm going to analyze every situation, the pros and cons, every single little thing about any situation I would overanalyze, and it would basically paralyze me to not do anything. But over probably the last couple of years, I've been really trying to work on that, because I'm getting older. I
don't even get started. Youngster.
life ain't in like forever, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do the things that I want. What's the worst that's gonna happen? At least I could say I tried. So that's kind of what I've really been trying to do with everything. And VTubing was something that I really wanted to just kind of do. So I just did it.
I mean, it's very obvious you're enjoying it, is the thing. And with that, has there come a time where you want to start setting some goals for yourself? I mean, it's really early yet, but with the way you've hit the ground running with it, do you see any big plans between now and the end of the year?
Yeah, I do. I like having goals just to have things to look forward to, right, and things to work toward. Yeah. As of right now, I'm not affiliate on Twitch yet, so that's kind of like the baby step, at least step one, right?
Yeah.
That's going to be step one. I am working, I'm making friends, so that's definitely an ongoing goal.
Right.
But I do want to have more followers. I do. I don't want to make it sound shallow, like, oh, I just want followers or whatever, but I want a bigger outreach of people and a bigger community that I could, really reach and, actually interact with.
Yeah.
And so hopefully by the end of the year, I don't have numbers in my head of like what I would want, but I just want to know. I just want something.
Progress.
Yeah. As
Yeah.
long as I'm going forward, that's all I care about.
Yeah. Was it easy for you in retrospect now? I mean, we're looking back a whole month, but now that you're here and in it, you're in the pool. Easier to do or a little tougher to do than you thought it would be?
I would say it would be a mixture of both. Some things that I thought would be easy or more difficult, and some things that I thought would be difficult or easier, right? There are things that you have to do. Like I know you for a fact that you have a YouTube channel, and that's my Achilles heel of, oh man, I have to edit these videos and find the parts and then I have to upload it and then I have to stream tomorrow. So it's the time management. Like you think you have all the time in the world, and then all of a sudden it's 3 a.m. and you have things to do tomorrow.
Yeah, so
true. That's definitely one of the more difficult things.
Yeah. And well, for you, in comparison, I'm basically just editing audio. You're editing audio and video and trying to find out where everything is and match up, and there's a whole bunch of googly programs that I'm never going to be able to mess with at this point. But it does make a difference. And are you going to do stream audios, full stream audios? Are you going to do highlights? Are you going to do shorts? I mean, there's a lot of things to choose from when you move on to a different medium like that.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I've been kind of experimenting with, right? Is okay, everyone loves short format media nowadays. Like you can't, that's unavoidable.
Right.
So probably gonna do like shorts, and then I probably do want like highlight videos or shorter stream highlight videos. But that's kind of what I've been working on or trying to work myself toward. That's really what I want to do, just because that's also the content that I realize I consume the most too.
Yeah. Actually, that's one of the things that will keep me from editing is suddenly I click on something like, oh, okay, and then I'll start falling down that rabbit hole, and I'll look around and I haven't got any editing done yet.
Oh man, where's the time gone?
and gosh darn, I have to work in an hour. But it really does seem to like it's been a good fit for you.
Definitely, I would say so, or I hope so, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I'm telling myself, at least.
Yeah, well, I don't think you have to tell yourself very hard. I mean, you can tell by how you're talking about it how much you're enjoying it. And
you're right.
I'll give you that. It's in the tone of your voice and how you do it. And by the way, that's a pretty dang good voice there.
I appreciate that very much.
Yeah.
It's probably the mic. It's the mic, probably.
Don't sell yourself short. Have you thought about doing some other things, like trying to do a little voice acting or that type of thing?
Voice acting, I've seen stuff. It was something that never really piqued my interest. Honestly, I would say the only voice type of thing that I was really into was like now a podcast. Like this seems really fun to me.
Yeah.
That's probably the only medium of voice stuff that I would really be into.
Yeah.
At least of right now. I'm not saying forever I won't be voice acting or something, but
yeah. The great thing about this now with people and people who normally wouldn't be in a voice business like that is that you can do it from home if you've got a good setup. You don't have to be in Los Angeles or Tokyo or wherever it's being done. If you've got a really good setup at home and you can deliver quality audio, then you've got the talent to do it. I mean, Joe Average probably isn't going to be able to do it, unfortunately, unless they're calling for a voice that sounds like that. I mean, you never know. I mean, there's some people with some pretty silly voices that make a lot of money.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You realize, so on the internet, you're like, wow, there's a whole wide range of voices now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And again, if it ever comes across, give it a shot.
I'll keep it in the back of my mind just in case, and I'll think of you, Eric.
Thank you, because I have no ability to do that whatsoever. I am the most thing I've ever acted with my voice is a 30-second commercial for the local grocery store.
See, but that's you're selling yourself short. That's still pretty awesome.
Well, on take 57, it's not so awesome.
I guess it just
Pennzoil
comes with the
oil.
business.
One of the first commercials I did for the station here locally when I switched stations was for Pennzoil oil.
Wow.
Yes, it took a while to
That-
get Pennzoil oil correctly.
you have to make sure it's just right. It has to be perfect.
Oh gosh, and then when I tend to short R's and L's anyway sometimes. And he's like, so it's like
At least you were aware though, so you knew what you were working with.
Yeah, but now like 15 years later, they're still playing the commercial. And every time when I turn on the radio, I'm like, oh God, aren't they ever going to record something new? I don't want to hear me.
That's good. It's so good that they're using it 15 years later. That's something to be proud of.
Yeah, I'd be a lot prouder if they gave me like a couple of pennies every time they played it. But not
send them a well-worded email.
Yeah, I don't even think I know who owns the place anymore. So how are you looking at this as a potential, this VTubing thing, as a potential moneymaker?
As a potential moneymaker. See, that's always been something that was kind of scary, right? Because the people say like, oh, once you turn your hobby into a career, it's not a hobby anymore, right?
Right.
I want to look at this as I'm having fun, and if I make some money off of this, then cool. Mm-hmm. But if I do see it in the long run become something that can be more of a business or something or other, I don't really want to call it a business, but I guess that's what it would be, right?
Right.
Then sure, yeah. If the opportunity presents itself, then absolutely. But I don't want to go into this, head first and be like, oh, I need this much revenue by the end of the year, because that just takes all the fun out of it.
By the way, this game is sponsored by League of Legends.
Exactly.
No, it is not. It is not sponsored by that. I just want to make sure. I'm not going to edit it out, but it's not.
But maybe someday.
Yeah. Well, if you get a chance to do it, and it's not like they're overbearing and you have to do exactly what they say. There's no problem in doing it. If you get a little sponsorship, go for it. As far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, why not?
Absolutely, and I totally agree. And it's just making sure that the person or the company that you're working for or with, right, like does match with like your morals and stuff is really, I think that's just what I really want to keep in mind, when that time comes.
Yeah, I can tell you've never been in radio. Radio, there's no morals involved whatsoever.
Oh man.
Yeah, I gotta tell you,
Wild West out there, huh?
Well, I tell you, there's one story here that it's so sad, but I did a commercial. And I was told, you have to do this. I was low man on the totem pole. You have to do this commercial. It was a 60-second commercial for a hypnotist weight loss smoking session.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Traveling guy who came in for one session and left. Oh.
Wow, that is one heck of a start.
Yeah.
Like just the first part of that is already like, okay, yeah. We already know where this one's going.
And I have to say lines like, it really does work. Yeah, it never fails. No, it never fails. And I said, pay
straight
me.
Through your teeth, huh?
Yeah, and then on Friday, pay me for that.
Where's the paycheck?
Yes, exactly. So what type of games are you playing right now, and what are you looking forward to?
The types of games I'm playing right now, in all honesty, my game of choice, it's not even because like, oh, it's super fun to be at this point, but it's Valorant. It's just I've been playing for so long that it's kind of second nature. But I do want to branch out to other things. I've been dabbling in Minecraft, and then I'm going to do like collab streams with like Lethal Company and what is it, Pico Party and stuff like that. Like all the multiplayer, like just party games. Yeah. I definitely want to get into.
Embrace just because, that chaos.
Yeah, it's the fun of it, right? And yes. I guess the vibe that I really want to go for, like eventually down the line, is when you're hanging out with your friends, and I just want chat to feel like they're part of the group, right? That's always the best part. It's just hanging out with the friends. You could be talking about absolutely nothing, but you're still having a good time. Yeah.
There's a lot of things to be said for having something you could turn on even in the background while you're and look up and enjoy for a couple minutes, get back down to what you're working on. and hanging out with it. It's something that I hope more people start embracing, because and that's it.
Yeah.
You do get a lot more done that way, I think. At least I
Hmm.
do. But it's also um, anything that makes people relax a little bit and enjoy themselves
Absolutely. You
without
gotta
anybody being
gotta
hurt,
get rid of the
obviously.
hustle and bustle of life sometimes, you know.
Yeah. And do you feel now that you've gotten started in this new phase a little responsibility on your shoulders for doing this?
Absolutely. You know, I may not be the biggest streamer in the world, but you know, people do still watch and interact with me, and there is that responsibility of being kind of not, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're an influencer. I hate using that word, but you influence people around you,
Yeah.
and you could make people play a game or buy a game or anything, or just even say a specific word, right? So it's really like, oh, watch what you're saying. Is this something that you would want everyone to see? Like,
Yeah.
would you be okay with your mom seeing this? Like, type stuff sometimes.
No, mom would just say, "Turn that off." But
That's good. That's fine.
yeah, well, I understand what you're talking about with the whole influencer thing, and it's become such a taboo and bad word right now. But
Hmm.
the meaning behind it, the true meaning behind it, is still there.
Oh yeah.
And influencer doesn't necessarily mean go out and buy this product. Influencer can also mean, taking a rotten day and making it a slightly better day, or
Hmm.
you know it doesn't, you never know what little bit you contribute to somebody else getting through what they're going through. You had that happen to
Absolutely.
you.
That's
You told me about that happening to you. So
yeah.
yeah, so passing it along is wonderful.
That's what I'm streaming for, really.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you're doing that now and you see the folks in the chat, are you putting yourself in chat and
Hmm.
thinking what would I want to see at this point? Because that could be like a endless loop.
Yeah, it's definitely something hard to deal with when you're first starting out. Is oh, I've been a people pleaser my whole life, so it's like, oh man, I want this person to be happy with my stream, but then there's someone else, and it's kind of, you're trying to decide, okay, what's a happy median, and also just interacting with chat, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a juggling act, but I guess it's a skill that maybe I'll hone in on when I the lot farther I get along, right?
Well, yeah, you're just still getting used to the water temperature at this point.
Yeah.
And once you kind of hone that down into what you want, and you'll get comfortable with it. I mean, it does sound like you're awfully comfortable right now, though. Um,
Oh yeah. I
yeah,
love talking to people. I love talking, and I love and I
yeah,
love hearing people. I love listening too. So
yeah. That's such a big thing too, is listening.
mhm.
It's another thing that's kind of lost these days, is actually listening to people, reacting to what they're saying, and continuing to be curious about what they have going on. One of the things
Mhm.
why I really like doing this, because I'm curious. I want to know what people's gonna. I'm nosy. Okay, I'm nosy. But
That makes two of us.
yeah, so I mean, it's nice to be able to just sit and chat with somebody and
Hmm.
not have to worry about putting on a big old, you know, front. I'm not counting the avatars as big fronts, but I mean,
Yeah.
a big fanboy front, that type of thing.
Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
it, it really does break the barrier down.
It does. And that's something that I also have been trying to kind of work toward. Also, like as you bring it up, is not having that front of, and actually having kind of that personality of, oh, this is someone that I could actually talk to and get along with,
Hmm.
because I that's the vibe I want to give off. Just, hey, I'm just a normal person. Just chat me up. I love talking.
Yeah, there's got to be you're gonna have to be strict with your boundaries once you set them, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are people that will push and push until until they get what they want.
Yeah, once you let somebody else kind of take control, whether they're in chat, and then it's like, they start, giving every everything that's ever happened in their life type of thing, and it's like
Yeah.
it's not your name's not on the marquee.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you should stream.
Yeah,
You should start your own.
yeah. Well, I think some of those folks you really don't want to stream.
Yeah.
But so, have you had any situation yet with chat where you're like, maybe this isn't going to work for you. Maybe you should go somewhere else?
Yeah, and that's if you don't mind talking about we've been talking about the positive. If you don't
Everything.
mind going into the negatives of this, like, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, it's all unicorns and rainbows, but I also don't want to seem like I'm pessimistic about this stuff. If that's okay with you.
Everything's fine. Go ahead.
And to answer that question, like, it happens quite often, especially I would say maybe you don't see it for the bigger streamers because they have so many moderators and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as a starting streamer, there's so much that they just flood you with. Everyone advertises themselves. I've had people advertise themselves in my chat,
Mm-hmm.
or Twitter. I follow you on Twitter, and I bet you could only imagine, or what it's like to have random DMs from, I don't know if they're even human beings.
Oh yeah, I get so yeah.
So the pain of, okay, like, now I have to, is this a real person, or do I just ignore this person? And it's not all unicorn and rainbows, but it doesn't deter me from doing this. But you also have to kind of put your foot down of, okay, this is my space. I'm not letting you do this here.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten friend requests from people on Discord that obviously wouldn't have anything to do with me.
Mm-hmm. It's insane. It's pyramid scheme type stuff, I swear.
Oh, and they're people that are trying to represent themselves as big face cam streamers on YouTube and that sort of thing. And I'm like, look, I don't deal with that stuff. Obviously, you're not them. So
you have to try harder than that, buddy.
Look, I didn't make it all this long, just to pass it off to you, Mr. Bot.
Yeah.
It's as long as you don't let it, tarnish your fun. Don't let anybody stomp on your joy while you're doing this. And that, of course, you can use that in anything, can't you? I guess.
Yeah, and there's life lessons in this streaming and VTubing stuff. Honestly, if you go back to the basics, and you really do learn a lot of things about yourself and others just by doing this. It's pretty crazy.
With this, have you kind of taken? And I'm giving you questions I would ask somebody who's doing streaming for like a year and a half.
Oh, that's fine with me.
But has that carried over to off-stream stuff too? I mean, have you been a little more confident in interacting with people away from the computer?
Oh, absolutely. Like, okay, it's been a month for VTubing, right? But I've definitely seen improvements in myself and my personality in the real, off of stream, right? Like, just talking to people, kind of having that confidence to just strike up conversation or just small talk it's huge. It helps. You're practicing. I'm practicing all the time, streaming and talking to people, and it helps substantially.
The great thing about using this in the way that you're doing it is not only are you enjoying yourself and having other people enjoying yourself, but it kind of gets to be a little therapy, I think, for folks, whether you're listening or whether you're. I know this is therapy for me. I mean, I enjoy nothing more than coming on and talking with people and just sitting and chatting because good Lord, I don't even know how many hours I've done this now over the last year.
I'm enjoying it. I'm wholeheartedly enjoying this. So
absolutely, and it gets you that opportunity to let your hair down a little bit, let a little loose. And as you said before, be a little silly that you wouldn't be in the first place. And getting that feedback and kind of a validation when people come back. Have you felt that validation?
I have, and it's great, but it's also something to be wary of, right? It's there's always, you could always have too much of a good thing, and I've seen people like be addicted to that, and I do love it, and it's great, and it makes me so happy to see people come back and talk to me and on chat and stuff. but I also have to keep myself grounded because at the end of the, I'm just another person just like them.
Yeah, well, I think you're off to an awfully good start, and I do appreciate you coming on. A great.
Oh, I appreciate you having me.
Absolutely great talking with you, and I think that you've got a really good mindset for this.
Thank you so much.
And I want to see what's going on, so you're going to have to come back. That's an order.
You just tell me when, and I'm back. I love talking to Eric. Yeah. This has been a wonderful time.
I appreciate it. Just keep us up to date on everything. If you got some big events coming up, or something planned, let us know, and we'll. If you want us to do some promo for it, we will.
Awesome.
Folks, we're going to have the links in the description for the video. Please check out what Dokeyn's got going on, because as you can hear by this interview, somebody that's enjoying themselves and wants you to enjoy yourself along with them. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.